It is technically one of the oldest manuscripts and predates the Uthmanic manuscript itself, which is very much so different to, yeah, Saturn manuscript is different to the Uthmanic manuscript. And I love the Saturn manuscript. Do you know why I love the Saturn manuscript? Because it's found literally in the cathedral of Abraha, of his Archbishop Muhammad, where their bodies are supposed to be buried. It's crazy that. It's crazy that, like, to me, it's just fascinating that a text that predates the Uthmanic text, yeah, is found and tied and linked directly to the Abyssinian Muhammad. But nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Hmm? Why does the oldest Quranic text that dates back to the late 6th century to the and the early 7th century, why does it why is it found in Abraha's cathedral where he was supposedly buried and Muhammad was supposedly buried? Why is it found there? The cathedral was later converted into a mosque, by the way. But why is it found there? Nobody's thinking those questions. Nobody's thinking, why does, for example, why does a northern, this is the traditional Islamic narrative, is that Muhammad is a northern Arab. Why does a northern Arab have a South Arabian name, Muhammad? Why does this northern Arabian uh, prophet bring in a South Arabian deity to be worshipped to the northern Arabs? And in the Quran, the northern Arabs are upset about this southern Arabian deity coming in. Who's this Rahman? They're asking this question. Nobody is asking the pivotal questions here that this stuff goes back here prior to this standard Islamic narrative or this dominant Islamic narrative. It goes back. It goes back to the true narrative, the historical narrative, the South Arabian narrative of an Abyssinian narrative of this particular Muhammad with this particular Negus Abraha spreading this new religion to the Arabian Peninsula and uniting them all. Nobody's talking about it. It upsets me at times, It upsets me because sometimes, yeah, I think to myself, I must look like a lunatic talking about this. But at the same time, I can back everything up. It's literally in Muslim sources there. But because now we have archaeology, this is what I'm saying here. The level of our information has been updated because we've got the inscriptions that we can now read, that's actually dated, and we can know what was going on in that time period. But unfortunately, um, academic stuff just yet. But it will do. It will do. Good to hear you still kicking around these YouTube streets. Found. Because obviously you have the Ibn Masud's codex, you have Ali's codex, you have quite a lot of people's codexes. I think it's Arthur Jeffrey. He's got a book. I believe it's Arthur Jeffrey. Don't quote me. Where he has the different Quranic codices in there. And obviously he's gone through, the various different historical books throughout the time that quotes the different people's manuscripts, the different Sahaba's manuscripts that, it says this in the manuscript, blah, 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 but we've never found that manuscript like their manuscript just yet. Hopefully in the future, with all this new digging up and finding, we will. Yeah, Ahmed Jalad is my guy. He's actually my guy because he's boss us. He's he was on Myth Vision recently as well, Myth Vision recently. And he was talking about he was talking about the name Muhammad, and he's even found it inside of Oman, but this goes back too far back. It goes back to the second half of the first millennium, so that's 500 BC. So it's too far back to really connect. But of course, the JA1028 inscription, that we know, is more closer to the date. And I'm like, cool. So we know that. I've gone a little bit further than Ahmed Jalad and everybody else. And I've actually pulled out Syriac text. Yeah, Syriac text. They're showing there people were named, Muhammad, or that Muhammad or Muhammada was named. People were named that name. But what's very, very interesting, I'm showing you, Christian Rahman has shown that, Muhammad or Mahmud, depending on how you pronounce it, it's all to do with the pronunciation, or Muhammad. It was named of the Christian South Arabian Abyssinian deity. So it's a name for the Christian South Arabian Abyssinian deity. Cool. That was used in, the 6th century. The first half of the 6th century, we know that was used. We know that prophets were named after their deities. Cool. But people ain't putting two and two together. I don't get it why people ain't putting two and two together. Let me just continue. But what should be the study of theophoric names and theonames here in the 6th century? It needs to be studied because we see, for example, on the Arabian Peninsula, the first one in the 6th century to do something like that, have theophoric names, is Abraha. actually a theophoric name, a theonym, the light bearer. This is a name for God within inside of the Bible, Ethiopic Bible. So it's very interesting, very, very interesting that we see it there. We see with Muhammad, we see with Ali as well. We can see the continuation, but you have to understand, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Because they're supposed to be the Khalifa of God. What does that mean? They're meant to be the vicar of God. What does that mean? They're meant to be the representative of God. When you see me, you see God. Yeah? When you see me, you see God. And when you study Christianity, you understand that the bishops were supposed to be Christ. When you see the bishops, they are literally the living example and representative of Christ. That's how your sins are forgiven, because they're now channeling the divine force. See, people need to. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully, yeah, all this is what I'm doing now. It's gonna spark a generation, and I'm hoping it will spark a generation of East Africans. Yeah, I'm not East African, but it will spark a generation of East Africans to truly go back and research this stuff. Ethiopians to go back and research this stuff. Go and read into your own history, because you've got one up on everybody else, because you could potentially read the Gaez language and you will know what's going on. Some of you guys, again, like Sudanese, like Nubians, if you lot can understand the old Nubian language and read those texts, there's like a whole cachet of text from Nubian Christian history that hasn't been deciphered, that could tie into all of this stuff and just blow the lid wide open. But nobody's doing it. And I always say this, right? Because racism is alive, and they're just concealing it. And at the same time, I'm a person who likes to take ownership and responsibility. That means that, cool, if you know that these people are not going to research it because there's not enough money in it, or nobody cares about African history, like, it's about time that you, East Africans specifically, please stand up. Please stand up. You South Arabians, Yemenis, and all the others, yeah, please stand up. Take some time, yeah. Go into blood clot academia. Learn archaeology and all these other stuff that you need to learn. And go and pick up these texts and read it, translate it, and bring it back to the world and broadcast it for us, please. There's a lot of hidden history that nobody cares about, because, you know, the skin tone isn't white enough for it to be uncovered and disseminated. Yeah?